Now we are going to see probability sampling techniques. Before going into the probability sampling techniques, we shall see a few important terms related to sampling. Terms used in sampling. Population. Population is the aggregate or totality of objects or individuals regarding which the inferences are to be made in a sampling study. A population is any group of individuals that have one or more characteristics in common that are of interest to the researcher. Sample. Sample is a small proportion of population selected for observation and analysis. It is a collection consisting of a part or subset of objects or individuals of the population. By observing the characteristics of the sample, one can make certain inferences about the characteristics of the population. Sampling. Sampling is the process of selecting a sample from a population. For this purpose, the population is divided into a number of parts called sampling units. Characteristics of a good sample. A good sample should be a true representative of the population. A good sample should be free from bias. It should not permit prejudices, preconceptions, and imaginations to influence its choice. A good sample should be an objective one. It should be objective in selection procedure and absence of any subjective elements. A good sample maintains accuracy. It gives accurate estimate or statistics that does not involve any errors. A good sample is economical in terms of energy, time at any point of view. The subjects of a good sample are easily approachable. The research tools can be easily administered on them and the data can be easily collected. The size of a good sample is such that it yields accurate results. The probability of errors can also be estimated. A good sample makes the research work more feasible. A good sample has practicability for research situations. Steps in sampling. First is you should define the target population, and the next you have to select the sampling frame. Then determine the design of the sample, followed by the plan and procedure for selecting the sample units. Determine the number of sample to be taken, that is the sample size. And next is select the sampling units from the sample frame. Next is conduct the field work. Types of sampling strategies. The sampling strategies can be broadly classified as probability-based sampling and non-probability based sampling. The probability-based techniques are based on the probability theory. Then we'll see nature of probability sampling. In a probability sampling, every individual of the population has equal chance of being selected, that is, randomly selected. Probability sample is a fair representative of the population. The observations or data of the probability sample are used for inferential purpose. Inferential or parametric statistics are generally employed for probability sampling. These techniques are highly objective in nature. Next, we'll see the different kinds of probability-based techniques. The first one is simple random sampling, then systematic random sampling, Stratified random sampling. This stratified random sampling is again classified as proportionate stratified random sampling and disproportionate stratified random sampling, cluster sampling and multi-stage sampling. These are the different techniques of probability-based sampling. The first is simple random sampling. A simple random sample is one in which each element of the population has equal and independent chance of being included in the sample. It is defined as a sampling technique where every item in the population has an even chance and likelihood of being selected in the sample. Here, the selection of items entirely dependent on the probability, and therefore the sampling technique is also called as method of chances. Randomization is done by using a number of techniques such as tossing a coin, throwing a dice, lottery method, etc. For example, to select a sample of 200 students from a population of 10,000 students using simple random sampling, the researcher has to number all the 10,000 students as number 1, 2, 3 up to 10,000. Then using the random number table or a computer generated numbers, a list of 200 students are prepared and they are invited to be the sample for the research study. Merits of simple random sampling. It is free from subjectivity and free from personal error. It provides appropriate data for the purpose of research. The observations of sample can be used for inferential purpose. Demerits of simple random sampling. The inferential accuracy of the finding depends on the size of the sample. So, the greater the sample size, the greater is the accuracy of results. The representativeness of sample cannot be ensured by this method. Inappropriate for heterogeneous sample. Next is systematic sampling. It is a type of probability sampling technique. With a systematic random sample, there is equal chance of selecting each unit from within the population when creating a sample. Systematic sample is a variation on simple random sample. Rather than referring to random number tables to select the cases, the researcher selects the units directly from the sample frame. This method selects the individuals of the population in any systematic way. It involves selecting every kth item, where k is the sampling interval, which can be determined by k is equal to number of items in the population divided by number of items in the sample. For example, imagine that a researcher wants to study about the career goals of students at a university, and that university has roughly 10,000 students, say. These 10,000 students form the population N. In order to select the sample of 400 students from this population, using systematic random sampling, the researcher could select every 25th student to get a sample of 400. The 25 is the sampling interval. Merits of systematic random sampling. This is a simple method of selecting large number of cases. The method improves the possibility of sampling units to be more evenly spread over the population. This method reduces the potential for human bias in the selection of cases to be included in the sample, so it provides a highly representative sample. Demerits. There is a chance of selecting the homogeneous group if the list of the population has some kind of standardized arrangement, order, or pattern. In that case, systematic sampling could pick out similar cases rather than a completely random ones. Attaining a list of population can be a difficult task for a researcher in certain cases. Stratified sampling. Unlike the simple random sampling, the systematic random sampling, sometimes if the researcher is interested in a particular strata or groups within the population such as male versus female, rural versus urban, etc., In that case, stratified random sampling method is most useful. In this method, the population is divided into strata on the basis of some characteristics such as gender, locality, medium of instruction, etc. And from each of these homogeneous groups called strata, samples are randomly selected. This stratification of population should be relevant to the particular research study. Stratified random sampling can be classified as proportionate stratified sampling and disproportionate stratified sampling. In proportionate sampling, the samples are selected from each stratum as they stand in the universe, that is, the way in which they are distributed in the population. In disproportionate sampling, equal number of samples are taken from each stratum regardless of the size of the strata in proportion to the universe or population. For example, if a researcher wants to select a sample of 100 from a population of 10,000 students, he may choose the 100 as 50 male and 50 female. Merits of stratified random sampling. It yields a sample that is a good representative of the population. It is an objective method of sampling. It economizes the time and cost of the survey. Demerits. It is difficult to decide the relevant criteria for stratification and gather a complete list of population. Bias may also occur due to improper stratification. Cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is used in market research. It is used when a researcher can't get information about the population as a whole, but they can get information about the clusters. In cluster sampling, the researcher divides the population into separate groups called clusters. Then, simple random sample of clusters are selected from the population. Imagine an organization wants to conduct a survey on the performance of smartphones across a country. They can divide the entire country's population into cities and select n cities among them and include all members of the city. Then in cluster sampling, the total population is divided into relatively small subdivisions called clusters. Then from each clusters, respondents or cases are randomly selected. Suppose we want to estimate the proportion of machine parts in an inventory which are defective. Also assume that there are 20,000 machine parts in the inventory stored in 400 cases of 50 each. Now use cluster sampling. We would consider 400 cases as clusters and randomly select n cases and examine all the machine parts in each randomly selected case. Merits of cluster sampling. It is an easy and economical method. It is practical as well as highly applicable in education. Demerits of cluster sampling. It produces large sampling error. Can also be biased in certain cases. Generalizations from cluster sampling may lack precision. Next is multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling divides a large population into stages and make the sampling more practical. It is a complex form of cluster sampling and sometimes known as multi-stage cluster sampling. In this method, significant clusters of the selected groups are split into subgroups at various stages to make it simpler for the primary data collection. In this method, the first researcher samples the inclusive groups from the population and then selects subgroups from the inclusive groups. At the third stage, individual cases are selected from the subgroups. At every level, sampling is run randomly. Suppose if a researcher wants to investigate the working efficiency of Nationalized Bank in India, the researcher uses multi-stage sampling, divides the population into states and take a simple random sample of the states. For the next stage, the researcher takes simple random sample of the banks from within those states. Then he may randomly select certain districts and interview all the banks in the chosen districts. Merits of multi-stage sampling. It is a good representation of the population. It is an objective procedure of sampling too. Demerits. It is a difficult and complex method of sampling. Multi-stage sampling involves many errors in the primary as well as the secondary stages of the sampling. So that's all about the different kinds of probability-based sampling techniques. Thank you for your attention.